Hello everybody, how y'all doing? My name is Raffle and welcome to today's video. And today I have an insane build with the Umbra Initiative. The new gear set is truly amazing. It's super fun to play with. No, it's no better than a Heartbreaker build. If you're one of those guys, yeah, but is it better than a Heartbreaker build? No, it's not. Go play with your Heartbreaker forever. This is a super fun build which might not have as high damage as other builds out there, but it's super fun. The crazy RPM that you get by the stacks, the great survivability that you can get by the armor regeneration, as well as the huge damage increase from the extra critical hit damage that we're gonna get, really allows you to create all sort of different builds. This build can be played with 6 red cores, with 3 blue cores, and 3 red cores, with 4 blue cores and 2 red cores. Everything is actually possible. You can use it with an SMG, with an assault rifle. You can also choose if you want to go with an assault rifle like the Police M4, which has a decent base damage but a very high RPM, or if you want to go with a lower RPM weapon, which because of the buff is gonna increase by a lot, while at the same time you're also gonna benefit by the extremely higher base damage the ACR has, for example, compared to the Police M4 or the Kingbreaker, for example. You can do all sorts of combinations. You can have a lot of different ways to play this build. My personal favorite so far is 6 red cores because I want to see how much damage I can get out there. As you watch from the gameplay, the damage per bullet I get isn't really that high. It's somewhere around 600k, which is not crazy, right? But the speed that my bullets go out of my weapon and hit the enemies is what makes this build such a fucking amazing build to play with. So let's see the gear set for those of you who don't know what it is. Umbra Initiative gear set. At 2 pieces we get 15% critical hit chance. At 3 pieces we get plus 30% reload speed, and then at 4 pieces we have the 2 buffs. The first buff is called From the Shadows. While in cover, gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack will give you 1% critical hit damage increase and 0.3% RPM. Buff does not apply while shooting from cover. While out of cover, agents lose 2 stacks per second at normal speed and 1 stack per second if sprinting. Now, if we use the chest, we're gonna increase our max stacks from 50 to 100, and we're gonna gain 20 stacks instead of 10 stacks. So as soon as you go behind cover, each second you will get 20 stacks. Each stack of those 20 stacks give you 1% critical hit damage and 0.3% RPM. In order to use those stacks, pretty much you need 5 seconds in cover to have 100 stacks. As soon as you get your stacks, you can go out of cover in order to actually be able to use them, and you're gonna have a shit ton of RPM and a very high critical hit damage boost. If you have 100 stacks, obviously you're gonna have 100% extra critical hit damage and 30% extra RPM. You lose those stacks by 2 every second or by 1 stack every second if you're sprinting. Moving on to the second buff. While you're out of cover and in combat, gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack will give you 0.8% armor regeneration while it's consumed. Stacks consume 10 stacks per second only in cover. However, if we go to the backpack, we will see that it increases the max stacks from 50 to 100, and it also increases the stacks we gain from 10 to 20 per second, and it increases the stack consumption from 10 to 20 as well. So basically, again, max stacks 100. In order to get those stacks, we need to be out of cover. 5 seconds out of cover, we're gonna get 100 stacks. If we go back in cover, each second, we're gonna use 20 of those stacks, and 20 of those stacks mean that we're gonna get 16% of our armor back as armor regeneration. So these 2 buffs, these 2 talents, call them however you want, synergize extremely well. While you're actually consuming stacks from the offensive buff, you're actually gaining stacks for your defensive buff. And while you're consuming your stacks from the defensive buff, you gain stacks for your offensive buff. It's extremely well thought out. It's a brilliant idea for a gear set. And as I said, yes, it's not as powerful as Heartbreaker when it comes to pure damage numbers, how much each bullet does. However, because of the RPM, because of the insane critical hit damage, because of how fun it is to use, I think that this is a set a lot of people will actually enjoy playing with, and they won't really care if your Heartbreaker kills people 3 seconds faster, right? Now moving on to the pieces I'm using, right? My backpack has weapon damage roll, critical hit damage, and a 12% critical hit damage. Gear mod, my chest piece has the exact same rolls, weapon damage, critical hit damage, critical hit damage. My gloves, again, weapon damage, critical hit damage. Holster, weapon damage, critical hit damage. And then we move on to the knee pads, of course, the fox prayers for the 8% damage targets out of cover. Again, critical hit damage over here. And then I have the coyote mask. Weapon damage, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and another 12% critical hit damage gear mode. The talent, of course, from the coyote mask is very insane. If you're going for the critical hit damage or critical hit chance build, you and all allies gain a bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. 0 to 15 meters plus 25% critical hit damage, 15 to 25 meters, 10% critical hit damage, 10% critical hit chance. If we go to my stats, you see I have 46% critical hit chance and 153% critical hit damage. I'm going with a 46% critical hit chance because most of the times my coyote mask is gonna proc and give me another 10%, which means I will go 56, which is pretty nice. And then if you look at my weapon at the Polisian 4, I have 5% critical hit chance here, 5% more critical hit chance in the laser, as well as in the muzzle. And the talent I'm using it with is Killer. Why? Because Killer will give me 40% extra critical hit damage when I kill an enemy with a critical hit. The stacks over here will give me an extra 100% critical hit damage at max stacks. So we have 140% critical hit damage boost from the weapon talent and the gear set talent, which will push our 153% critical hit damage all the way up to 293% critical hit damage, which I think is brilliant for an assault rifle build. This is not the best build. I don't know if there is a best Umbra Initiative build, simply because there are so many ways that you can actually use this gear set and so many ways to have fun with it that I find it very hard to come out and say to you this is the best way, because somebody who enjoys playing with backfire, this will be a super great build idea for him. Using Umbra Initiative, having all the armor regeneration to counter all the build that you're going to be taking from the backfire, as well as the huge critical hit damage increase that the backfire offers. It's really hard to say to that person, you know what, that's not the best build, this is the best build, right? Then you have Chatterbox, right? Look at Chatterbox. When you reload, rate of fire is increased by 20% for each enemy within 50 meters of you. Max stacks is 5. 100% rate of fire increase. Combine that, right? Combine that with a 30% increase the Umbra Initiative gives us. There's so many ways to play this build and have fun with it that there isn't really a best Umbra Initiative build. Whoever says that, he's lying to you. He just found what works best for him and he thinks that everybody should play with the gear set the way he is, or that's the best way because he is having fun with it. Don't listen to what people say about best builds, right? Very rarely you will find a truly best build in this game. And Umbra Initiative is definitely one of those gear sets that offers so many ways for you to play that it doesn't have a best build. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video and you want to support me, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more content. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye bye.